Super Rugby Aotearoa, round number 2. First game's on Saturday at 7:05 local time here in New Zealand. For you guys in Europe and whatnot, it's South Africa. It's a morning game. I guess early evening game in Australia, and 7 o'clock rugby. Kind of standard time for here in New Zealand. It's the Battle of the Bombays. Geographic rivals, the Chiefs from the Waikato taking on the Blues, pretty much from Auckland, but also Northland and North Harbour. So, traditional rivalry. The Chiefs have had the best of that rivalry for a long time. Our record against the Chiefs has been poor in recent times, and they beat us this year already. It was 37 points to 29 at Eden Park earlier this season before COVID. And, I went to that game. And I remember second half being pretty bad. First half was pretty good. I think it was, I wrote it down, 19 points to 5 at halftime. It was to the Blues. The Chiefs came out second half. Aaron Cruden stole the show, kicked the drop goal. And, the Blues didn't even get a losing bonus point. I think it was a late penalty at the end. It was a pretty painful one. But this is a new competition. And it's the Blues who are on 1 win and no losses after a 10-point victory over the Hurricanes last weekend at Eden Park. And the Chiefs went down to a last kind of couple of minute drop goal to lose 28 points to 29 to the Highlanders down in Dunedin. So the Chiefs are back home for the first time. The Blues away for the first time. The Chiefs are expecting a pretty good crowd. I think the momentum of Super Rugby Aotearoa and just sports in general being back is still with us. I think they're expecting more than 20,000 people. I am going to be there. Hamilton is not too far from Auckland. It's less than 2 hours drive. So I'm going to take a little bit of a weekend. I'm going to leave on Saturday morning and hopefully spend a bit of the day in Hamilton. And it should be a bit of fun to go to a live game. I have been to FMG Stadium in Hamilton a couple of times. It's a really nice ground to watch rugby. In terms of the lineups, there's not too many changes in both sides. The Chiefs have got Ross, Takiaho, and Laulala in the front row. They've had to put, I'm not sure if it's Va'i or Va'i. Someone tell me, Tupo. The lock for the Chiefs. How do you pronounce his surname correctly? I would like to get it right if I can. And Akoi, those guys are in the second row. There's no Mitch Brown this week. He is injured after last week's game. So that's the one area of their squad you would say they are looking a bit light, because Allardyce is, I think, out for the season. Ardron, someone helpfully told me in the comments, has gone to Canada. Not Canada, gone to France. The Canadian has gone to France. So, they're looking a bit light in the second row, but Jacobson, Lachlan Boshier, and Soakula make out the back row. I was going to say front row, that'd be interesting. They'd have to be really crazy short on players for that to happen, and it wouldn't be legal anyway because danger and whatnot. But, Sam Cane is still not available, still injured, and it's interesting. I talked to my mum today after I'd seen the lineups, and she follows rugby a bit. Like, she follows the All Blacks and she follows the Blues. Not in a huge detail. I don't know when the last time she's gone to a game was. I took her last year, I think. Or was it this year? Anyway, but she goes like once a year. And I said to her, Sam Cane's injured. And she just said, again, guy's always injured. So, some of you guys have kind of echoed those sentiments in the comments previously as well. So, interesting for All Black captain to be out as much as he is. Seems to be a fair bit. Webber's still at 9, but Cruden comes in to 10. So that's a bit more lethal in terms of what I remember about that last game. This one when Cruden came on. ALB and Tupaia are the midfield. Wainui Stevenson, who will get his 50th cap, and D-Mac round out the back three. So it's still a very attacking looking Chiefs team, man. There's not, apart from the locks, they're still going to be very competitive. Alain Malo is also on the bench. Adam Thompson, I think, is the lock cover, which shows you kind of how much depth they've got. Adam Thompson is traditionally a loose forward, but he's going to have to likely cover the second row, if or either that or Jacobson, Soakula, or Boshier would have to step in. Anyway, for the Blues, again, minimal changes, a couple of injury-enforced ones. Hodgman, Parsons, and Tuangafasi's the front row. So hopefully they'll be up to the task down in Chiefs land. Tupolotu is captain and Josh Goodhughes in second row. I like that second row just in terms of experience and whatnot here. So hopefully the lineouts are a time when the Blues can cause a bit of trouble. They did that against the Canes last week. Akira Ioane is probably the biggest addition. He didn't even make the squad last week. He's now starting, although at 6 rather than 8. We've seen him play 6 before. Papali'i is at 7. And you would have to say he made a big impact when he came off the bench last week. So Gibson's injured, likewise Tom Robinson, so that's why 6 and 7 have changed. But I definitely like Papali'i at 7, man. He looked good when he came on. Knock and Black are 9 and 10. So again, kind of steady as she goes. Faiane and Rico Ioane are in the midfield again. So there's still no Joe Marchant, England international. Can't crack the 23. And Caleb Clark, who was phenomenal on that left wing. Mark Talea, who was also very good, busted 10 tackles, was great last week. So he's on the right wing. And then our man, Bowden Barrett, is at fullback. So D-Mac against Barrett is an interesting one to see how the two teams go. Matt Duffy continues on the bench. And still no Marchant, still no Dan Carter. But that's all right. Give it time. He'll be back. So, it's going to be interesting to see. I think the Blues controlled the game pretty well last week against the Canes. They kicked well. Aotearoa Black had a great night with the boot, and tactically they seem to be pretty on song. Too many penalties given away, especially in that first half. Referee that game's coming for a fair bit of stick. Chiefs also like too many penalties. I think Sol Cooler gave away like 4 penalties, so they'll need to clean their act up around the breakdown as well. But with the likes of Jacobson and Boshier there, they may have a bit of an edge in terms of pilfering because Papali'i is your only real recognised breakdown man. So his battle up against Boshier in particular will also be kind of one of the key battles of the game, you would imagine. So hopefully, for my Blues, line-out time is an area they can dominate. If they can dominate set piece all round, then it could be a good night for them. But traditionally, going down to Hamilton has meant a bit of pain, so I'll be doing that. We'll see if it's painful. But yeah, I don't know. Still early days in Super Rugby Aotearoa, so we do not know how things are going to go. The bookies, the TAB here in New Zealand, have the Chiefs by 2 points, which is making it pretty tight. And Rugby Forecast's algorithm has got it slightly more in the Chiefs' favour. They are 5-point favourites to beat the Blues down in Hamilton. So, hopefully it's a good, nice, close game. I hope the Blues obviously can get a result, but we will see. It's still, as I said, early days in Super Rugby Aotearoa. Who do you guys reckon is going to win? Any kind of key selections that you are particularly pleased or disappointed with? Other guys you'd like to see in the lineups, or perhaps some of the bench guys who you think maybe should be starting? And if you haven't worked out how you're going to watch the game, stick around, because I think ESPN Plus for $4.99 American a month is probably the way to go, although it's a slight trick to get on there. But anyway, you guys take care, and I'll see you again soon. See you later. Right, guys, so if you want to use the ESPN Plus deal to watch the games live or on demand, $4.99 American a month, you need to be in America. If you're not in America, you need to use a VPN and set yourself as your location being in America. The one I use to do this is ExpressVPN. There's a link for that down in the description. You can choose how long you want to sign up for. There's a 3 months free offer there as well, and they do 30-day money-back guarantee. So it's definitely worth a try. Once you're connected to a VPN server in America, essentially this ESPN Plus page, instead of getting page not found, it will just load up the regular ESPN content. See, I've already created an account with ESPN Plus. When I signed up, I had to enter an American postcode, but I just Googled one. And essentially you get onto ESPN Plus here. So when I search rugby, the only rugby on at the moment is Super Rugby Aotearoa. So these are the games they have. You can see the upcoming ones here. and then the on-demand ones here. When you click on a game, this is an on-demand one. Essentially, it just loads up and you can play the game, man. So as long as your server is set to America, you shouldn't have any problems watching Super Rugby for essentially $4.99 a month American. So
and without
compared to some of the other deals out there, I know like Sky Sport here in New Zealand is pretty expensive. Super Sport in South Africa is pretty pricey. Sky Sport the UK is pretty pricey. I reckon this one's a pretty good deal, but I'll leave that one up to you guys. The link's in the description, as I said, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.